This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Janaushadhi Yojana, making cost-effective medicines available for the citizens. The participants are Sachin Kumar Singh, CEO, Bureau of Pharma, PSUs of India, and Aditi Tandon, journalist.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today addressed the Janaushadhi Divas through a virtual conference, and he interacted with a host of beneficiaries of this scheme, which basically seeks to provide low-cost medicines, high-quality medicines to a lot of poor and middle-class families who have been struggling with the out-of-pocket expenditure. Mr. Sachin, you have also seen the scheme grow from meager 100 stores about 6 years ago to 7,500 stores today. And Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, this morning actually inaugurated the 75th 100 Janaushadhi store in Shillong. And while dedicating the store to the people, he spoke of the importance of inexpensive medicines at high quality and also how India's pharma sector, along with India's vaccination and inoculation drive, is capturing the imagination of the world, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic and the way India has been able to, in record time, deliver 2 vaccines which are high efficacy and which are both safe. And now the Prime Minister has taken a shot. So the overall focus of the Prime Minister's speech was the importance of ensuring access to affordable healthcare through Janaushadhi stores. How do you see the progress of the Janaushadhi movement in India, considering there has been a sort of ongoing dilemma between the branded medicines and the generic medicines, and the government is trying to push the generic medicines?
Let me first focus on the journey of Janaushadhi so far. From less than 100 centers in India in 2014, now the number of centers has grown to 7,500. So in terms of number, we have seen a spectacular journey over the period of last 6 years. In terms of value, from mere sales of 7 crore rupees in 2014, the sale is now crossed rupees 600 crore and expected to cross 640 crore. So when we talk about the savings that is occurring to the common person, it is to the tune of 3,600 crore rupees per year. You can just see that the efficacy of the medicine, the quality of the medicine is as their branded counterparts, and this is reflected in the sales. So almost 70% of the sales of Janaushadhi medicines are coming through chronic sector for the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and the other cardiovascular disease. We have the largest sales segment. So the patients of these diseases, they need to take medicines on a regular basis. So if the quality of generic is per se is lesser than the branded, then they are not going to be turned to be regular consumers of the Janaushadhi medicine. So, as far as quality is concerned, it is as good as their branded counterparts. As far as price is concerned, the prices at Janaushadhi medicines are cheaper by at least 50%, tune of 90% of their average prices of branded counterparts. So, suppose there is one popular medicine of this heart problem. One of the leading brand has a price of 242 rupees for 10 tabs. The same medicines are available at Janaushadhi at mere 15 rupees. The same case, there are n number of medicines which are available at such prices. The chain is growing. All districts of the country are covered, and the Honorable Prime Minister has dedicated the 7,500 store at Nigrim, Shillong. This journey has been very spectacular.
You would remember, Mr. Sachin, that about 2 years ago, there was an order by the government that we should push the generic medicines. At that time, there was a debate around the quality and around the issue, and there were some kinds of concerns expressed by doctors. So how is it possible for India to actually institutionalize the use of generic medicines? Because the whole concept of Janaushadhi stores is high quality generic medicines to a lot of poor people in a country like India, where the out-of-pocket expenditure on health is the highest in the world and is touching around 65% of expenditure. And also, if we look at the economic survey, which laid the ground for the government to actually delineate the health funding, and the union budget also expands health funding considerably, even the survey talks about the need to improve the generic medicine market in the country. And as we know, we are the leaders. So where is the problem? How can this be resolved? How can we make generic medicines a people's movement?
You said very truly that the government of India is now pushing the movement of generic medicine. We also call it silent revolution. But there is an issue is that the lack of trust on the quality of generic medicine. This is the main obstacle which is obstacling the growth in use of generic medicine. So first of all, what we are doing on the first hand, we are creating an awareness in the mind of patients, consumers, doctors. And secondly, look, doctors are our biggest assets. So any doctor, he always looks for the best of his patients. So he always prescribes the best kinds of medicine which are available in the market as per his perception. So we are doing regular consultations. Our marketing officers, they are in regular touch with the doctors. They are convincing doctors. We are providing through the Janaushadhi Kendra. They are as good as their highly expensive branded counterparts. So at least do write your prescriptions in generic medicines. And today we have facilitated so many doctors across the India. They are actually supporting us. They are now realizing that the generic medicines are as good as their branded counterparts. And in fact, doctors are now playing a very encouraging role in this movement. I am quite hopeful that they will support this movement of generic medicines. It is just the beginning in the direction of affordable generic medicines to the all. The trust base is now increasing, and the people, the doctor, the patients, they are now paying more trust to the generic.
There is certain feeling within the medical sector that quality of Indian drugs, as you said, is an issue, and the government perhaps needs to do more to tell people that the quality of the medicines that are manufactured in India, the generic medicines, is not as bad as is estimated, as is perceived to be. For instance, I'll take you back to a very important survey that was conducted by the Apex Drug Regulator, if you recall, the Central Drug Standards Control Organization. The last survey that they did, the burden of spurious drugs in India. The survey had actually found out that Indian drugs are not as low in quality as previously projected by some global studies. So, this ongoing, very interesting kind of research also going on whether the global studies were deliberately projecting Indian drugs as bad, because obviously the branded market would be affected if generics are promoted. And in fact, if I might quote, the survey by the drug regulator had shown, that's the largest survey of drugs it was, and it had shown that substandard and spurious formulations were only 1 in 25 medicines, as against 1 in 7, which was the previous estimate due to some global studies.
Let me tell you one thing, that all drugs that are manufactured legally in India, all of them are being made as per Indian pharmacopoeia or the British pharmacopoeia if they are following that. So, and there is a very well set quality mechanism to ensure that only the best quality drugs which satisfy all the standards that are set by the government is being released to the market. So it is to say that Indian drugs are inferior or less in quality is not true. They are as good as their global counterparts. And India is the country where one of the largest conversion of WHO GMP certified manufacturing facilities are here. So any drug what we sell through the Janaushadhi, they are procured only through those suppliers for facilities are WHO GMP certified. Then every batch of drugs, they are tested from NABL accredited labs, and after getting a positive test report, only then they are being released to the market. So there is a very well set quality control mechanism available, and the Indian procedures, Indian protocols, Indian regulations, they are very categorically defined, and they are very stringent. So any drug which is being manufactured in India legally, they have to satisfy a very well set protocols about the quality, and after getting satisfied, only then they are being released to the market. So to call that the Indian drugs are inferior in quality is not good. Whether it is branded, whether it is generic, there is no difference in the eye of law as far as the qualities are concerned. So any drug which is sold legally in India, there is no doubt about their quality. They are as good as their global counterparts.
The Prime Minister today said a very important thing. He mentioned that the plan of the centre is to actually expand the Janaushadhi store network from 7,500 to 10,000 very soon. Yes. And he also said that perhaps an experiment can be also started to put ECG machines in Janaushadhi stores. This, of course, after one of the persons associated with Janaushadhi in Karnataka mentioned how he had used the store to install an ECG machine and to help people get tested at the Janaushadhi store, which is closer to the community rather than go various kilometers down to the city. So is that experiment feasible in the kind of setting that the Janaushadhi stores have, since you run some stores?
I am very happy to inform you that we are expected to cross the sales turnover of 625 crore this year. And this was the target for the next year, that is financial year 21-22. So we are going to achieve it earlier. In the same way, the target for 10,000 stores is being set for financial year 23-24. But I am very much sure that we will achieve this much earlier as visioned by our Honorable Prime Minister. And the ECG experiment, the Dr. Kamath is a very well learned and very popular doctor in the Mangalore. So he, from his side, he started giving this kind of services to the Janaushadhi Kendra. So many doctor friends, so many pharmacists, so many para-nursing staff, they are doing similar kind of activities to the Janaushadhi Kendra out of their duty or contribution to the society. So as far as to make policy about this, sure, if Honorable Prime Minister guided us, we will work upon it. We always think to utilize Janaushadhi Kendra to support multidimensional benefits to the health sector. In the week, today was the last date for the Janaushadhi week concluded. So 1st of the March to the 7th of the March, a wide range of activities were carried out. There were medical check camps, more than 5,000 medical check camps were organized. Then in the similar way, there was a program to teach them young, that is to interact with the young men to make them aware about the generic medicines. There was a day on 4th March, Suvidha Se Samman. So the awareness to the women of this country about the safe practices and the use of safe sanitary napkins. So a lot of activities are going on, and Janaushadhi Kendras are doing multidimensional service to society.
It was mentioned by the PM today that 75 Ayush drugs will also be added to your list. Which kind of drugs would this be?
We got a list from the Ministry of Ayush. We are working on that, and very soon all the procedures are to be completed. And these are like common Ayush medicines. For example, Ashwagandha is there, Triphala is there, Haridra is there. So these are to be sold at our Janaushadhi Kendra.
Mr. Sachin, one question that comes to mind is Prime Minister today mentioned that 3,600 crore worth of money is being saved through Janaushadhi stores annually by beneficiaries. Who can then spend this money in other better things in life like education of children and other things. What is the kind of expansion of the beneficiary base that has happened between 2014 to now, since we are making a comparison of the past 6 years? How many people used to access the stores in 2014 and what is the subscriber base now? Do we have any data to that effect?
You can judge from the volume of sales and the number of stores. In 2014, the volume of sales was near 7 crore rupees and the number of stores was 86. And now today, the number of stores is 7,500 and the volume of sales is greater than 600 crore. So it itself speaks about the difference, the journey we have covered through 2014. So right now, more than 1 to 1.25 crore people per month, they are utilizing the benefits of Janaushadhi Kendra.
Right. There's one thing that I would like to ask you. It has been mentioned that the incentive under the scheme, to promote this scheme is being raised from 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh. Yeah. What does that mean and who can actually open the Janaushadhi store? What kind of a requirement and eligibility is there? Because apparently a better incentive is given to people of the scheduled caste and tribal communities to open Janaushadhi stores.
There are two kinds of incentives available for opening Janaushadhi Kendra. The first one is the sales made. So if you purchase some medicines from the Janaushadhi, so what we give a store owner, a normal 20% is the retail margin that is available to every retail store owner, plus 15% of the monthly purchase, which is up to maximum 15,000 per month and total 5 lakh rupees in your entire channel. This incentive was earlier 2.5 lakh. It has been now increased to rupees 5 lakh. The second one is for setting up of a store. If you belong to entrepreneur belong to a women category, our special category, Divyang category, women, persons from aspirational district, northeastern states and hilly and Himalayan states. You will be given up to rupees 2 lakh. 1.5 lakh rupees is for setting of fixtures, furnitures and 50,000 rupees for reimbursement of IT systems. Actually, 1,280 stores are being run by the women entrepreneurs and it is a substantial percentage and it shows our commitment towards the women empowerment in per se the vision of Honorable Prime Minister. So in that way, what we are doing that we are giving them as a seed capital to encourage them entrepreneurs from this community as well as from this area, from the hinterland and tough land of our country to open more Janaushadhi Kendra.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Janaushadhi Yojana, making cost-effective medicines available for the citizens. The participants were Sachin Kumar Singh, CEO, Bureau of Pharma PSUs of India, and Aditi Tandon, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.